Hi, my little babies. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Review. Thank you for joining me for another episode. My name is Candace. Hi. If you're new here, hi. Welcome. Don't be scared. No, don't be scared. Welcome to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. My name is Candace and I'm your host. Sometimes scary, sometimes aggressive, always spazzy, always forgetful. You'll learn that very fast. And, yeah. So, in today's video, I have officially fallen down a JT Geissinger rabbit hole. I'm gone. I'm so far gone. I'm caught up on the Queens and Monsters series, which we're going to be reviewing in this video and one subsequent video after this, I think. And then we will be caught up to what's been released so far. And then I have started another book that is in the same realm, I think. Beautiful something. Anyway, it's Liam Black's story. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you should know. Get on it because it's Irish Mafia. Yo, I am on such a Mafia binge lately. I don't want to read anything else but Mafia. Oh God, it's just been back to back Mafia romance. I don't want anything. If it doesn't have gangsters in it, I don't want it. Okay? I did read one MC book. But we're gonna get to that. And when I do, it's gonna be a clusterfuck. Because my dark romance babies y'all are gonna love that one. In today's video though, we're gonna be reviewing book 2. Do you see the floaties in front of my fucking face? That's just from picking up this fucking book because of rabbit hair everywhere. Book 2 in JT Geissinger's Queens and Monsters series, and that is Carnal Urges. Declan, God. This book put me on my ass. It put me on my ass, y'all. The laughter that literally came out of every pore in my body. I can't even explain it. You have to experience it. You have to experience it. This is book 2 in that series. I'll give you guys the deets for the book, and then we'll do the blurb and we'll break it down because the banter was out of this world. Okay. This book, along with all the books in the series, are free to read with KU. If you have Kindle Unlimited, free to read with KU. If you want to purchase this book for your Kindle, you can do so right now for the price of $4.99. If you want to buy the trade paperback I'm holding in my hand right now, I feel like somebody on The Price is Right. A lovely brand new car. You can get this for $15.99. Okay. This is also available in audio. Okay. Really quick, I'm going to sit this down because I want to talk to you about the audio for this. This series in audio, I listened to the audio for this. This series is only the second series or audiobook in general that I have run across that has been formatted this way. When you listen to an audiobook, typically you're, depending on the type of book that it is, like POV wise, if it's from the female's perspective or the main female character's perspective, the whole book is from her perspective, fine. They hire a female narrator. She does the whole book. Cool, one and done. Done. Same thing goes with the male POV. If it's all male POV, they're done. Romance-wise, why would they do that? We don't do that. A lot of books nowadays are done chapter by chapter, alternating POVs between the male-female character, right? Okay. However, within those chapters, let's say, for example, within the females chapters, during the dialogue portions, the female narrator will also voice the male's parts, just deepening her voice to sound like the male character, right? That's the way it's always been done. Same thing with the male POV. During the main male character's chapters, he will attempt to lighten his voice to make himself sound like a woman, to voice the female character's dialogue in his chapters, right? That's the way it's been done. That's the way I've always listened to audiobooks done. No. Not in these books, baby. J.T. Geissinger has literally spliced, she's paid, and I know, and this is why, on Audible, I would not mind paying whatever the price was, whether it be $20-something, for the Audible download for these books, because I know money went into the production value for these audios. Because I know that when it came to producing these audiobooks, the amount of time it took to splice in the dialogue within every chapter, the female narrator narrates her lines and the male narrator narrates his own lines, no matter whose POV it is. Game changer. It literally blew my mind. This is not the first time this has happened. This is the second time this has happened. Book 2 and 3 of Danielle Laurie's Maid series also did this. The first book, I don't think they did this. This book, I know books 2 and 3 did it. And I think that's why I gravitated more towards the audiobooks for books 2 and 3. Because they did that. It makes a world of difference in listening to audiobooks. Because no matter how much a male narrator attempts to change his pitch, it just doesn't, it's not the same. So the fact that she went the extra mile to literally splice in the back and forth between the two narrators, as if I'm literally in my brain watching a movie, mind-blowing. And I fucking love that. So when it comes to audio for this series, I cannot recommend it enough. The narrators themselves are fucking chef's kiss as well. The narrator, I think his name is Troy Duran, for the main male narrator. Oh my God. Especially when he does the Irish accents. Girl, your panty's gonna go up in smoke. Okay, smoke. They're going to melt straight off of your body. You've been warned, okay? The Irish brogue, when he does that, okay, you've been warned. So, that was a little cutaway scene that I've just given you, a little side tangent, because you know I do my tangents. The audio is so fucking good, y'all. If you are an audio person and you're into audio, this is going to take your audiobook game to the next level. When you're at work and you're getting your earbuds in and you're listening to your filthy shit at work, girl, you're gonna be typing at your desk and you're gonna be like this. You're gonna be squeezing your thighs together. You're gonna be like this. Oh God, please don't let my boss come by right now. That's gonna be you, girl. Okay? So, the audio for this I would highly recommend. I'm just saying. Now, let's get into the blurb, y'all. So, the blurb for this book is not very long. It's actually pretty short. So there's like at the top here, there's like a little definition type thing. It says carnal, adjective, in parentheses, adjective. 1, relating to the pleasures of the body. 2, given to sensual indulgence. 3, the man who kidnapped me. I love a good kidnapping trope. Feminists of the world beware. This is a kidnapping trope. Pump your brakes, girl, because this is a kidnapping trope. Okay. The devil has blue eyes, an Irish accent, and a hatred for me that runs deep. Consorting with his enemies, getting his men killed. Though I'm innocent on all charges, he wants his pound of flesh. With an eye on revenge, he makes me his captive. But as we'll both soon discover, there are more powerful urges than that for revenge. When the devil meets his match, but she's his sworn enemy, that's when the real war begins. Okay. I know I do that sometimes. That scares people. I know, I'm sorry. I do it unintentionally. But I just get so excited that I have to let it out in some way. And usually it manifests itself in like very creepy faces and sounds. I'm sorry. So, the 2 main characters for this book are Declan and Sloane. You will remember Sloane. If you've read this series, the first book in this series, which is Ruthless Creatures, you will remember Sloane. Sloane is the brash, mouthy counterpart to Nat, the main female character from the first book. Sloane is very, how to describe Sloane? Sloane is very flighty, very devil-may-care, very take nothing seriously. She's a yoga teacher. She goes through flings like nobody's business. She doesn't believe in boyfriends. I'll put it like that. She thinks they're too much drama and a waste of time. So she will have these little flings with guys, and they're fun and they're whatever, but she doesn't take any of them seriously. Like, she doesn't do relationships, right? Okay. However, a lot of that comes from, obviously, as you do with a lot of characters, past childhood trauma and unhealthy coping mechanisms to that trauma. So her past is very dark and full of not good stuff. So, yeah. So that has manifested itself into the person she is today, which is I can't remember if she's vegetarian or vegan. I want to say she's vegan, and she's a health nut, and she's the polar opposite of Declan in every way. She also gets on his nerves to the umph degree. She drives him insane, which makes for the best banter you will ever read in your life. Okay. So Declan is a member of the Irish Mafia. If you remember, at the very end of Ruthless Creatures, in the I don't remember if it was at the end or if it was in an epilogue. I can't remember. It might have been the very end of the last chapter, or it might have been in an epilogue. Sloane has she's done with Stavros and being on his yacht somewhere out in the Mediterranean or wherever the fuck it is. And she's basically dumped him. And she's been like, he's like little boy. Very childish, very immature, whatever. And she's left him there, and she's come home, and all the shit blew up with Cage and Nat. And now Nat is living with Cage in New York, in his penthouse apartment, surrounded by guards. Okay. Sloane is coming for a visit to see her friend. She gets on a plane, private jet, very nice. Mm-hmm. She comes to New York. She gets picked up at the airport. Everything's cool. She gets to their building. She's in the parking garage. She goes to get out of the car. A couple of cars pull up, a van of some kind, and like SUVs, blacked out, tinted, whatevers, and she gets snatched. When she gets snatched, she hits her head pretty fucking hard when she gets thrown into the car. And she basically gets kidnapped. She gets abducted. Who does she get abducted by? The Irish mob. Why is she getting abducted by the Irish mob? Well, what had happened was, if you remember, in the first book, there was a dinner that involved Sloane looking like a whole snack in a tight dress, and two Irishmen basically groping her when she walked by them at the bar. And Stavros not doing really much to defend her, but her defending herself. And they didn't take too kindly to that, so they came over to the table later, and that resulted in like some words, which then turned into some gunfire, which then turned into the Irishmen are dead. And Cage killed everybody. My bad. Okay, well, sorry that happened, but your guys were kind of asking for it because they slapped my ass. Declan, who's just kidnapped Sloane, on the orders of his boss, Diego, who is the head of the Irish mob in Boston, does not know that that's what actually transpired. He's under the impression that Sloane basically is the catalyst that started this whole war between all the families, or all of the heads of all the syndicates or whatever. So he's taken Sloane, and she's been bumped around pretty hard. She wakes up. She's mouthing off to him. He doesn't like it. He's like, you should be afraid of me. And she's like, fuck you, I'm not afraid of you. And she continues to mouth off to him. So they go back and forth. And on the way to where they're going, which is the airport, they get a phone call. Diego is dead. Our boss is dead. Declan, you're now the new head of the Irish mob in Boston. Okay. All right, well, not really sure what I'm supposed to fucking do with you now, because you're here, and I've basically just started an international incident. So I need to regroup, and I need to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do. However, now I'm on the run from Cage and literally everyone else, because Cage, in retaliation for Sloane's kidnapping, has shut down all of the ports and put a bounty out on Declan's head. And basically said, hey, anyone who brings me Sloane back alive and brings me this motherfucker's head, I will reopen the ports just for you and let your shipments and stuff, because Cage and the Russians control all of the ports in New York and all the product, drugs, etc., coming into the city. That shit shuts down, nobody can get any of their shit in. So he basically says, kill Declan, bring me Sloane back alive, because that's my woman's best friend, and she's basically family. Whoever does this, I'll reopen the ports just for you, and we'll be cool. So now, Declan's basically fucked, and Sloane is his only bargaining chip. So he's got Sloane, and he has to get away with her. He takes her back to Boston, and she's basically his captive. The banter that started this thing, that started with the kidnapping, or at the time of the kidnapping, continues throughout essentially the entire book. I very rarely find myself literally laughing out loud at a book. Sure, there are like rom-coms and things like that you read that you smile or you go, oh my God, it's so ridiculous. Like, okay, no. I was literally driving in my car and laughing hysterically at some of the shit they were saying to each other. It was ridiculous. Because he would say something to her, and she would immediately like just snap back at him with something equally insane. And I would just start hysterically laughing. And the sexual tension between the two of them was like anxiety inducing. The angst, oh God, the angst. Okay, so Declan has two henchmen, his main two henchmen, Kieran and Spider, whose real name, by the way, is Homer, but he doesn't like people to call him that because it's not very gangster of him. They're both really good dudes. We love them. Sloane essentially befriends both of them right away. And it gets to the point where they're doing her bidding more than they're doing Declan's bidding. And she basically weasels her way in, like under the skin of all of his men. And he's baffled by how she can do this. Like, he just doesn't get it. He's like, what? How are you getting my men to let you out of your room, and why are they trying to convince me to let you cook them dinner, and why are you, how? So she's basically being held captive in his apartment. During the time that she's being held there, she has 2 or 3 spells where she nearly passes out, or she does pass out. She basically faints. And finally it gets to the point where she gets taken to the hospital. Declan takes her to the hospital because he doesn't know what's wrong with her. And by this time, he's becoming emotionally invested in her well-being, because he's becoming emotionally invested, if you know what I'm saying. they do a CAT scan, etc., and come to find out she has a subdural hematoma from where she hit her head when she was first kidnapped. Of course, Declan feels terrible because he did that to her. They keep her in the hospital. While she's in there, Declan is by her side 24/7. A nurse comes in and basically divulges in front of him, no, willy-nilly. What is doctor-patient privilege? Nothing. That, oh, by the way, are you aware that you're pregnant? What? Sloane's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, your urine test came back positive for pregnancy. You're pregnant. Sloane's like, I know my body. There are certain changes that come along with pregnancy. No, I'm not. There's no fucking way I'm pregnant. And she's like, no, okay, well, I'm not going to argue with you, but your test said you're pregnant. Declan loses it. Declan comes from a obviously very Irish Catholic family, and up to this point, he has now grown feelings for Sloane, but he doesn't want to take another man's baby away from that person whom he believes to be Stavros, because Sloane was only with Stavros up until this point. Stavros, who, by the way, around this same time is attempting to storm Declan's penthouse alone to rescue Sloane. Fucking idiot. So Stavros is taken by Declan's men and interrogated by Declan while Sloane's in the hospital. He reveals that he's in love with Sloane and he can't live without her. Okay. All right, dude. And Sloane, meanwhile, wants nothing to do with Stavros. She sees him as like a little kid. He's like a little boy. He barely knows how to feed himself. He's the worst mobster on the planet. So she's in the hospital and she's like, I want all the tests. If I'm pregnant, do an ultrasound. Look in there, because I'm telling you, there's no way. They're like, I mean, if you want the test, we'll do the test, but I'm telling you, you're pregnant. Okay, well, whatever, bitch, do the test. So they do the tests. There's no baby in there. So while that's happening, Declan's interrogating Stavros. And Declan comes to the realization he can't kill Stavros, even though he wants to, because he knows Stavros had his dick in Sloane. And Declan is a territorial alpha male, 100%. And so he wants to kill him on principle alone. You had something that I consider mine now, or that I want to be mine now. And I hate that fact that you were in there. So, but you obviously love her. And now she's carrying your child. And I have feelings for her. I've developed feelings for her. And so I'm going to do the honorable thing. And I'm going to let her go to you. Let her go with you. And he does. And while this is happening, while he's coming to this epiphany that he's going to let her go for the good of her own happiness, she's in the hospital, coming to find out that she has a rare genetic disease that produces false positive pregnancies. And it's something to do with, I forget what it was called, but it's something to do with like, makes her more prone to getting cancer, ovarian cancer or something like that. I forget. Anyway, it produces false positive pregnancy tests. basically. She's not pregnant. But before Declan can find that out, she gets released from the hospital. And he basically tells Spider and Kieran to pack up her shit and put her on a plane with Stavros without telling her anything. And by the time she realizes what he's doing, she thinks that he's basically kicking her to the curb. And now she's pissed. And she's on principle not going to tell him that she's not pregnant, because you don't care enough about me to keep me regardless of this baby. If there was a baby, without even talking to me, fuck you, right? Okay, because she's also caught feelings at this point. So she gets on the plane with Stavros. And it's about this time that we find out that Stavros is a foot fetish kinky mofo who literally faps it to her shoes. Which I was just like, what? Okay. So if he ever gets his own book at any point, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read it with a straight face at all. So the plane's getting ready to take off, and she's seething and sad because Declan's basically thrown her away like trash. And Stavros is basically in the back room masturbating to her stilettos. And it's around that time that the plane's getting ready to take off that a car whips in front of the plane. And her phone rings. And it's Declan telling her to get the fuck off the plane. And she's like, why? You didn't want me. And he's like, I thought you were pregnant. You're not pregnant. And she's like, no, I'm not pregnant. And he's like, get off the plane. And they go back and forth. And eventually, he basically strong arms her into getting off the plane. Takes her back to his apartment. And they go at it. And it's just like, whew, whew. Fan self, y'all, because she was hot. I need a drink just thinking about it. Tea. So, yeah, that shit was hot. There are subtle hints of BDSM type style stuff in here. There are also some Master Sir type stuff in here for you guys who enjoy that type of stuff. There's some of that in here too. So around this time, shortly after they have sex for the first time, shit starts to get weird. He starts meeting with what I can only describe as a handler and or undercover cop. And immediately you think to yourself, oh, wait a minute. Is he like undercover FBI? Because he's meeting with someone who's clearly a Fed. So it like changes the entire dynamic of what you think is going on. And just throws like a bloop, this big old kink in what you thought you knew about who he is. Because he's clearly not just a mobster. So during this time, Declan and Sloane are getting closer. They're falling for each other, basically. They both sense that the other one has secrets about their past or are keeping secrets from the other. Declan wants to know about Sloane's past, and Sloane wants to know what Declan is actively hiding. Declan can't tell her what he's hiding. He wants to. And he says, basically, he tells her point blank, if you trust me with your secrets, I'll tell you everything. And she just can't. She says, like, trust is earned. You have to earn it from me. It's not just something I can just like give you. You know what I mean? So they get into like a little tiff. He storms out of the apartment. He's gone for 2 days. She's watching the news. She's anxious the entire time he's gone. On the news, she starts hearing reports of mob bosses, the heads of all the other syndicates within the city or around the country being systematically murdered. And she knows that it's Declan that's doing it. She doesn't know how. She doesn't know where he is, if he's in any, like if he's in danger, what's going to happen to him. But she knows that he's behind all of this. And so she's there. He hasn't called to check in, nothing. So she's a ball of anxiety and she's a mess. And then after 2 days, he comes back. He walks in and she loses it on him. And they fight again. And then they make up. And then they make up. And then she tells him about her past. How she was very overweight as a child. And a lot of pressure was put on her to lose that weight by her parents. How she was bullied in school, especially in high school. And how she was sexually assaulted, basically molested by one of her father's Navy friends. And she became pregnant by that rape, basically. And regardless of the fact that that child was a product of rape, she wanted to keep the baby. Until one day she was at school and her high school bully, who picked on her every day for being fat, pushed her down a flight of stairs and she had a miscarriage. And so Declan feels horrible around that time because he has a flashback of when she was in the hospital and thought that she was pregnant. He guilted her and made her feel like shit at the prospect of getting an abortion, or because she hinted at possibly getting an abortion. Like, she made some comment and he assumed that she was talking about getting an abortion, and he judged her for doing that. And so now, after hearing this story, he feels terrible. And they have like a bonding moment, and it just solidifies their relationship even more. Later on, she goes for a walk on the beach to think, to clear her head, right? A team of peoples unknown come out of the water, out of the ocean. And before she can turn to make a run back for the house, because now the place where they're staying is located on the ocean. She's taken, drugged, and essentially put on a boat and taken to a military type facility where she's interrogated about her relationship to Declan, which she does not handle well. She's mean about it. Sloane's general demeanor is bitch mode 99.9% of the time. So she does not take kindly to being abducted and assaulted and drugged with ketamine or whatever the fuck it is that they gave her, and starved and interrogated. And no, she does not like that. She does not like that one bit. So they ask her questions and she goes into full on smart ass. And so she's dealing now with the assistant director of the FBI comes in. And he basically threatens her entire family. He knows details about her life. He knows about the miscarriage and the rape and the fact that she used to cut herself. And he knows all of her secrets. Things she never told anyone but Declan, and not even Nat. Things she never even told Nat. Nat didn't even know she was pregnant. So the assistant director comes in and basically tells her, we're gonna let you go, but you're gonna work for us now. As you're gonna basically be a spy for us. And you're also gonna break things off with Declan. You're never gonna see him again. I don't care how you do it, but you're gonna break up with him. And she's like, no, I'm not. Fuck you. And he's like, you'll do it or we'll kill you. Those are your two options. We can find you anywhere. And anywhere in the world you go, we'll hunt you down and we'll kill you. And we'll kill you. And we'll kill your family. Your sister, your dad. Everyone you care about will be dead. Or you work for us. And at that point, she gets truly scared. And she knows she has no choice but to do what they say. Wink. Wink. Declan is in a rage. He's gone through his handler, and now he's at the facility, and he's basically pointing a gun in the face of anyone who gets in his way. Where is my woman? Where the fuck is my woman? And he goes in like, guns blazing, yo. Like, as you should. As a man should. Right? As the alpha should. So, they allow Declan in to see her. To take her out. Declan takes her out. She essentially tells him, this thing between us is over. I want you to let me go. I want to go stay with Nat and Cage. And he's suspicious. He's stunned and scared because he's in love with her, obviously. And he's suspicious because the way she delivers the breakup is very un-Sloane-like. And she's doing that on purpose for anyone who could possibly be listening. So by the time he catches on, he realizes she's signaling him that that they could be bugged, that something's happening. So he plays along, and he takes her to Cage and Nat and drops her off and goes to handle the business that he needs to handle. And next time she turns on the television, the assistant director of the FBI is dead. mysteriously dead. I can't remember if it was a suicide or whatever. He's killed himself. Dead. Don't fuck with Declan's woman, okay? Because he don't play that shit. All right? He comes back for her afterwards. Basically says, we're getting married. You don't have a choice. Which, at this point, are you gonna say no, bitch? Really? Come on. He basically tells her, you could actually be good at this spy shit. I could be your handler. Let's bring you into the fold. You do some intelligence gathering. I work for not necessarily the US government, but as a freelance type person, spy type person. He's essentially a spy for multiple governmental agencies, and he plays all sides at all times, and he kills whomever he wants. He's essentially untouchable. So he tells her, I'll be your handler, and you can help me do my bad shit that I do. And she's like, okay, cool. And now they're like the dream team, and they're gonna get married. And the end. However, there is an epilogue at the end where we find out that Diego, the ex-head of the Irish mob, aka Declan's old boss, is not dead. He is alive and being held in a warehouse, in like the basement of a warehouse, by Cage, for reasons unknown. What's happening? What's going on? We don't know. The end, okay? For the rating for this book, I gave it a 9.5. No, you know what? I give it a 10. I just changed it on the spot. I gave it a 10. I fucking love this book. I loved this book. The banter alone made it worth the read. Then you throw in Declan's possessive, oh God, and just Sloane's mouthiness, and the fact that she calls him Gangster. That's his pet name, like his little nickname that she has for him, Gangster. And I was like, I fucking love that. That's so fucking cute. So yes, okay, I gave this book a 10. Loved it. So yeah, I would highly recommend that you guys, if you like mafia romance, pick this series up. Start with Ruthless Creatures, which is book 1 in the series. There are currently 3 books out for the series. There's a 4th one slated to come out, I believe, in June. Oh my God, it's so good. This series is so fucking good. It's ridiculous. Her writing style is addictive. I can't stress it enough. It's so good. So, top tier. A new like auto-buy author has been added to my list. That's all I can say. So, I would highly recommend that you guys read this book. I would highly recommend that you guys read this series. If you enjoyed this video, if you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I do have a members only Facebook group, an Instagram, and a Twitter devoted to this channel. I will link them all in the description box below, and I'll put a little banner here on the screen for you guys to see. And I think that's it. I really thank you guys so much for sticking with me for another fucking hour-long video. Because let's just face it, we're gonna average an hour from here on out because that's just how I am now. Life. That's life. That's life. It's what all of you, it's what Candace says, okay? That's what I say. And yeah, I thank you so much for watching and joining me for another video. And I will see you guys in my next one. I love you so much. Bye. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, welcome back. Candace looking like a whole drowned rat. And I just got highlighter all over my book again, trying to take a fucking thumbnail. Why do I always do that? Candace, okay. Hi. Shakeage much? Shakeage much? Okay, let's get started because I have a full fucking schedule today. I'm so far behind. I'm so far behind, it's ridiculous. Like, you don't even know. You don't even know. And I have to purge these from my brain because I literally can't intake any more information. I've forgotten the plot to all these books. Literally. Literally to all of these books. I don't remember a fucking thing. My brain works at like 30% capacity most days. So right now I'm at like 7%. And that's being generous because yeah. Okay, so where to begin? Our intro. That's a good place to start, isn't it? You think, Candace? You should probably start with your intro, shouldn't you? That'd be a good idea. That'd be a good idea. Okay, all right. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. Let's fucking fuck with your hair for another 8 minutes. Waste your storage, as you do, as you do. And then we'll begin. Okay. Good job. I don't know what anyway, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Let's get some tea really quick. Really quick. Fast little tea break. Tea! Okay. Okay. Are we ready? Are we ready? I didn't paint my nails. I took it off. It doesn't look chipped and gross. You're welcome. You're welcome. But I didn't paint again because too much hassle. Okay, let's go. 3 minutes in, let's go. Okay. He blames me for starting a war. T-Reg. I need to wet my whistle. Okay. Cut. What's the little thing? That was terrible. I should have just done it like this. Baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark doo doo doo. Can you tell I have a small child? What gave it away? What gave it away? I loved that book. You know which one I loved as much? Maybe even more. And I know that's gonna shock everyone. This one. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. The faceless assassin. The bearded. Who just creeps into women's bathrooms. And I know that sounds weird, but in the book it's not. It's hot. Stay tuned. All right. Well, I don't think we're gonna have a lot of bloopers because I didn't fuck up too much. I did leave some stuff out. Declan's family was killed by like an IRA gang war. I forgot to mention that. I think that was pretty much it though. I think I got everything else. God, I still have to do all those LJ Shen books. Oh God, so much. So much. I'm so far behind. So far behind. Now I want to sing Cher. If I could turn back time. Okay. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Should I do Vicious by L.J. Shen next? I don't even remember the plot to that book, yo. Fuck, I don't even remember the plot to that book. Anyway, why am I wasting storage? I don't know what I'm doing with my life anymore. I love you guys so much. I'm itchy. Rabbit hair everywhere. I love you. I'll see you later. Little.